Alright guys, like I say, if you can give a massive Lancashire warm welcome for Shoulder CD, Mr. Neil Young! Yeah, no, I think they're on there, mate. Just press it, see?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Neil.
So, what I'm going to talk about tonight, just to give you an idea, who's seen me speak before here? Who's seen my story? Yeah, most of you have seen me speak. So I'm not going to really cover up a lot of my story, except to say that I joined about 16 years ago, and we joined to make a bit of extra money, like an extra $300 to $500 a month. We did all that. And we've had quite a lot of success. We've been on 18 trips and we've won a Mini Cooper. Best check nearly $7.5 grand for 4 weeks. That's all well and good. But what I'm really going to talk about tonight is the opportunity, because I believe the opportunity is better today than it's ever been since I've been in the business. So what I'm going to talk about is the opportunity itself and how it's changed and how you can use it in the next few months. Because I believe that if you've just joined, you've joined at the absolute perfect time. If you've been in for 10 years, then it doesn't matter, because the next 5 years you will see growth in the business that people wouldn't even have dreamed about 10 years ago. So I'm going to talk about the opportunity first and foremost. Because the best opportunity you will ever come across is now here. And I'm going to explain why I believe that to be the case. And hopefully this will give you some insight into why I'm so confident that you will see unbelievable growth in the business in the next few years. But the first thing I want to talk about is K-Life. I noticed that you call this a K-Life Clean Easy opportunity meeting, but to a lot of people, K-Life was just another catalogue. And it is another catalogue, and it's certainly true that you could look at it that way. But I never looked at it that way. I never thought of it as being another catalogue. To me, it was a completely different brand and a completely different business. That's the way I looked at it. That's what I wanted when I was involved in the Easy Network development for thingy, and we discussed it, and we saw like some of the products that they were going to put in it, and so we saw the creation of the catalogue, if you like. But to me, it was never another catalogue. It was something of interest to me, but it was not my primary interest. My primary interest was I wanted a completely different brand and a completely different business that we could market online. That's what I wanted. That's what it was to me. So when they brought the catalogue out, everybody got really excited about the catalogue. I was just really excited because I had a completely different business that I could market online. Now from there, if you remember when they launched K-Life at the beginning of this year, the products were new, the catalogue looked fantastic, but we didn't have the stock levels to support that catalogue, and we knew that that would cause problems, but we wanted to launch it anyway because we knew that in the long term it would massively help the business, and that certainly proved to be the case. Even for the people just putting out catalogues, it will massively help them, and we know that the order values per distributor are going through the roof. So all of that is good news. So the catalogue distribution business is better than it's ever been before. But that's not really what I was excited about, because I needed to have something that I could market online which people wouldn't prejudge, which people would just automatically latch onto and then recommend to other people, which is basically what's happening. And if you remember at the beginning of the year, we didn't have the independent you video that we have now. So we didn't really have a separate opportunity video. We use opportunity videos to market the business online. People click on links and they watch videos about the business. That's our way of exposing people to the business. But the only video we had at that time was Angela Griffin, which is a really good video, but it shows people walking down the street delivering catalogs, which is not really an effective tool to market an online business with. So we started using different videos, and we edited that video, we cut bits out of that video, and we actually cut all those bits out of the video. Why did we do that? because I wanted to have an online business. I wanted to be able to offer something in the marketplace that people could work from home online, because that's what I believe people want. So we've only had that for the last probably, 2 or 3 months. We've only had the Independent You online video for the last 2 or 3 months. And since we got that, well, before we got that, we were getting remarkable growth in our business. But since we got that, the thing's just really taken off. Now, last month we just finished, we had our best turnover, 240 grand in 4 weeks, which is our best turnover in business ever. And we've got loads of people moving through the program. But I want to talk a bit more about the opportunity. Oh, here we go, right. Now, I did a webinar for Andy Boswell back in May this year, and I said that I believed the business would duplicate quickly and easily. And the reason why I believe that is because if we think of the business that we all joined years ago, putting catalogues out and introducing other people, we achieved a good measure of success with that business, and that still works. If people go and put catalogues out and they follow a system, it still works really, really well. But there are always going to be a very, very large percentage of people that will not go and do that. Once we have the new brand in place, that obstacle to duplication is completely removed. So about 6 months ago, maybe a little bit longer, before we had the video, the reason why I mentioned this, before we had the new online video, I basically changed every single advert that I run, and I made it for online people working from home. So even before we had the video, because I knew that if we changed the marketing, we'd get much, much more response to our paid advertising than we would if we were just running the advertising that we were running. So we deliberately put in place and made a strategic decision to only advertise for people that wanted to work from home online using Facebook and other social media platforms. That's the only advertising we now do. I mean, it's the only advertising I've done for at least 6 months. I can't remember the actual date when I changed it, but it was around this time when I did that webinar. So, and that has certainly proved to be the case, because our cost per lead is down. The number of leads that we get every week is massively up, and we've got now momentum in our recruitment. So, the first thing I would advise you to do is to think about how you market the business. Are you still advertising for catalogue distributors? Now, I'm not saying don't do that. You can do that. It works. I understand that. But what I'm saying to you is this works better. And it doesn't, not just a little bit better, it works hugely better. So we only advertise for people that want to work from home online using Facebook and social media. All of our advertising, and I can tell you that I generate over 2,000 leads a period. That's like 500 leads a week. Maybe more than that actually, did we get that right? Yeah, it's over 2,000 leads a week. But I also have a huge database, and we have lots of people in our team that have huge databases that we can market the opportunity to. So that's kind of like where we were 6 months ago. So what that means, I believe what that means is that we have a unique opportunity in the next few weeks. Coming up to date, we now have massive momentum in our business. We had over 220 people join our business in period 12. So we're now into period 13. So we're coming into the best retail period of the year, which is right now, and we're coming into that period with more people joining our business than ever before. So if you can imagine, everybody knows that in a retail business, in the retail sector, not just in convenience, but in every business, a lot of the work that you do is done so that when you hit the peak retail period, which is Christmas, the more, what we used to say, feet on the street you have in place, the better your run up to Christmas will be. Well, now it's not so much feet on the street, we have to call it something else. We have to call it fingers on the keyboard or something. I don't know. So that's where we are now. We have more people joining than ever before, but we're now about to hit the best retail period of the year. We've got Black Friday. Who ever thought we'd be talking about Black Friday 15 years ago when we joined? So we've got Black Friday, that's this Friday, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So more people, the spend of people buying stuff online is now 100 billion. So the business that you all joined, whenever that was, you know, a year ago, 3 years ago, 10 years ago, 16 years ago, doesn't really exist anymore. It's changed, it's evolved, but it's now worth 100 billion. 100 billion. Things like Facebook are fast replacing eBay as the place to sell stuff. So the opportunity itself is better than ever before. There's absolutely no doubt in my mind about that. But how can you use it? What can you do with that? And why is it important now? Well, the reason why it's important now is that I believe that anybody sat in this room can get themselves what Chris Mason Paul, who's the first millionaire in the business, called a current story. Everybody needs a current retail story. So I believe what you should do is aim to achieve your personal best retail in period 13. And if you're already team building, do that as well. Go for your personal best and number of people introduced into the period. Do that as well. Because then when you get into period 1, you can put your certificate of income, your check, into a Facebook selling group. That's a misnomer, actually. We shouldn't call it Facebook selling group. We should probably call it just a Facebook group. Or a friends group would be better. Would be better. And if you do that, if you have a Facebook group, who here has a Facebook group? Who has a Facebook group? Okay, keep your hand up if you've got more than 10,000 people in your group. Okay, so we've just got one person in the back. Daniel, how many people have you got in your group?
11,700.
And how long have you had that group?
I've had it a few months, but I've only a couple of months I've really started going out.
Okay, so you've had it a few months, but you only started it probably a couple of months ago, and you've got to 11,000.
Yeah.
Okay, if I said to you, who's got more than 5,000 in the group? So now we've got like a couple of people, okay? Right, okay. Well, what I want to say to you all is this. I want to say to you, if you've got less than 5,000 people in your group, you're massively missing out on like probably the golden opportunity of a lifetime. I believe that you should make a note of this. This is up to you what you do with this information. But I believe you should set a goal tonight to grow your group to 20,000 people by Christmas. That's if you haven't even got a group. Anybody not got a group? If you haven't got a group, or if you've got a group this morning and you've got one person in it, it's you, set a goal to get to 20,000 people by Christmas. And make that the #1 priority in your life between now and Christmas. And you can do that. I haven't got a training on that. There's loads of trainings on that. But most people know that this is happening in our business. Daniel just said he only really started a couple of months ago. He's up to 11,000. Well, he probably hasn't been doing it 24/7 with total focus. I'm sure he could have got more. I know he could have got more because I know what he's doing. But the reality is, most people fail not because they don't know what to do. Most people don't fail because they don't know what to do. Most people fail because they don't do what they know. And we've been talking about these Facebook groups for months and months and months, and we've been testing things and trying things, but we've now arrived at a point where we know how to move the number of people in groups very, very quickly. And we've got people doing it in no time at all. I had a guy join with 45 friends on Facebook, get to 5,000 in 10 days. So we know that this can be done. So what I'm saying to you is, if you want your 2016 to look totally different from your 2015, set a goal to have 20,000 people in your Facebook group by Christmas. That's like tactic #1. If you, at the same time, in period 13, go for your personal best retail figure. Now this could be any kind of retail, it doesn't have to be online retail, but I would recommend you go for your best retail figure at the same time and get yourself a really good check in period 13. Make period 13 your best month of this year. Finish the year the way you want to start next year. So let's say you get yourself a really good check in period 13 by pulling out all the stops maybe demonstrating some products when you go to deliver your orders to your customers, maybe doing a bit of online advertising. Now, you don't need to do loads of retail online if you've already got a huge customer base with catalogues. The purpose of your Facebook group is not to do more retail. Let me make that clear, because people misunderstand me when I say these things. The purpose of your Facebook group is not to sell more product. Don't worry about selling more product through your Facebook group. Don't even give that a minute's thought. That's not really the main purpose of it. The purpose of your Facebook group is to create a warm market. I'll come back to that. There's only two things you need to change. If you want 2016 to be different, if you want to really, really take advantage of this incredible opportunity, there's two things you need to change. The first one is the number of people joining your business needs to change. I do recommend that you look very carefully at that. I've sponsored this year 138 people, which is way, way more than any number I've ever got even close to before. And I haven't finished. In fact, people keep ringing me asking me to join every day. But I'll probably end up with about 150 something. But we used to teach people in the old model, in the old dark old days, we used to say, put out 200 catalogues twice a week, you've probably heard all this, and get 50 leads a week. That's what we used to teach people. Now, don't misunderstand me, I'm not knocking that. We built a really good income from that, got me out of my job, got my wife out of her job, got my kids into private school. It's completely changed. It got me out of the rat race, basically, so I'm not knocking that, but it's extinct. And people just need to realise this. The business that you join no longer exists. And I believe that what you should aim to do is change the numbers in the business. All of the accepted business models that we used to use are now no longer relevant in this marketplace. Why are they no longer relevant? I'll tell you why. If you used to get 50 leads a week, and then we used to send our information packs out, and then we bring people up and say, did you get the information? What did you think of the information? And if they were kind of remotely interested, if they were like, if we could like mentally check that they had a pulse, then we could try and make an appointment to go and see them and show them the business. Send them a video to qualify them a bit further, whatever you did. That's fine, and all of the people that used to say, oh no, it's that catalogue thing, it's that clean easy thing, oh no, I would never go door to door, no, definitely not. And if you were confident on the phone, you could quite easily get past that and sponsor people into the business. But there would always be a percentage that probably wouldn't even take the call, weren't really open-minded about the business because it just didn't appeal to them. Well, all of those people, all of them, can now join your business, and they will readily run into your business, willingly, gladly, openly, quickly, easily, in a matter of minutes, be in your business. So can you see, what we used to do is no longer relevant, because now people leave their details on a website, they watch 2 videos for 5 minutes, so they watch, and then they email you back saying, I've watched the videos, what happens now? We then ring them up, we show them another thing on the internet, it takes about 15 minutes, and they join there and then, and they're in. So from the start to the finish of the process, it can be done in about half an hour, literally. So if that's the case, why would we still cling to the old models of going and put out people? Someone messaged me today, I hope you're on it, saying, what do you recommend I put on my shop ads for online? And I said, I recommend you don't do shop ads. We haven't done shop ads since 2010. And people say to me, do you still put out flyers? No, we don't. We haven't put flyers, cards, shop ads out since 2010. Why? Because this is the 21st century. You have to change with the times, and there is no need to do any of those things any longer. If you get smart and you build yourself a Facebook selling group of 20,000 people between now and Christmas, which is achievable. If you don't know how to do that, by the way, go to www.the10steps.info and click on Get Started Online, and you'll see 4 buttons underneath the 6 videos. And one of the buttons is how to run a competition. Click on that, download the PowerPoint training, and go through it, and that'll tell you how you do it. Instead of getting 50 leads a week by putting out cards, flyers, and shop ads, which takes hours and hours and hours and hours, you can grow your Facebook group between now and Christmas to 20,000 people And then when you get your best check in period 13 by doing your best, personal best retail, and by sponsoring some people frontline and getting busy for a few weeks, just a few short weeks, you can put your check in your 20,000 strong Facebook group on day 1, period 1, and you can sponsor more people into this business in that first month of next year than you have in the whole of this year. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
The whole, more people in period 1, 2016, than you sponsored in the entire year in 2015, if you're interested. So when I say it's the best opportunity you ever like to come across, that's what I mean. Because people are doing that in our business now. And I'll show you some examples of that. So that's the first thing. We need to change the numbers. The other thing is, though, that because the business now has mass appeal, if they watch a video, you know, who's watched the Independent You video? Have you watched that video? Isn't it fantastic? I mean, that video. It's the best video we've ever made, isn't it? Yeah. I'm a bit biased. But it's okay. It's a 4-minute video. It doesn't really tell them a lot. It just says they can work from home online. That's about it, isn't it, really? And there's people making £7 grand a month. And so on. Well, if you got even 50 inquiries, if you had 50 inquiries from people who wanted to work from home online, and they watched that video, and then their second video we showed them is the K-Life product video. So they watched 2 4-minute videos. If they like those 2 videos, and you got 10 leads, here's how many people do you think should join out of the 10? I'll tell you how many should join. About 8 or 9 out of the 10 should join. It isn't going to be a problem introducing people into the business because the kit only costs 25 quid. So if they like those videos and they like the products, if you ask them what was the best thing you can see in the videos from your point of view, they will say to you things like, oh, it was the products. It's the products. I would buy the stuff myself. That's what they say if you ask them that question. So if they buy the stuff themselves, and they can work from home online with total time flexibility, and you show them your support program, and the kit's only 25 quid, why on earth would they not join? Most of the people, the vast majority, like about 90% of the people I show the business to, join. So we don't have to get 50 leads and then bring them all up and then try and schedule 6 appointments or 10 appointments to get one. If we get 50 leads, we can get 3 or 4 people into the business quickly and easily. So all of the numbers that have ever been written about this business, you can basically beat. And it's at least 10 times as good now as it was then, when we joined. So that's the first thing. So change the number of people joining, and I believe that everybody should basically aim to sponsor 10 people a period. Because it's easy to do. If you dump the baggage of the last 5 years and the old business models, I believe it's easy to sponsor 8 to 10 people a period. And I believe it's also really easy to get 150 leads a week. And the only challenge you will ever face is not bringing 150 people a week, because you don't have to do that either. All you have to do is bring the ones back that have watched the videos and tell you they want to join. And that's what I do. I've sponsored 138 people, and I don't do telephone callbacks, which is quite interesting. I just bring the people back that have emailed me or texted me or rang me saying they want to join. If you've got 20,000 people in your Facebook group, you won't have a problem finding people to talk to about your business when they see your check in period 1, when they're skint because they spent too much money at Christmas and they're fed up or being fed up and they're setting their goals for the next year, and they just want to have a way out, a light at the end of the tunnel. If you put your check in that Facebook group and there's 20,000 people in it, the only challenge you will have is finding the time to register the people that contact you. Here's Laura Harrison. Here's an example. She put a check for only £284 in her selling group. She got 90 leads in 1 day. Who here has got a check of more than 284 quid? Most people. Most people are earning more than 284 quid. Well, then all of you can do what she's done. And I would suggest she did that in period 9, which is August, before the Christmas catalogue even came out. We're now in period 13, which is the best retail month of the year. So when I said it's a unique opportunity now, it's not that it didn't work in period 9, it worked pretty well in period 9. It's just that it works better now than it did in period 9, because you'll get more leads and a bigger check. So from there, she went to £846, that's her gold distributor check, in period 11. So from period 9 to period 11, she went from 10% to gold, and then the following period, she went 10 active wide and gold, and did about 12.5 grand, and got a check for £1,239. So from 284 quid to £1,239 in the space of 3 periods, through her Facebook selling group. That's the purpose of having a Facebook selling group, not to sell more product. She didn't retail more than £1,000 at any stage of that process. She's not a retailer. How does she retail? She creates an interactive group where people are friendly, communicate with each other, and she puts a few posts up advertising the products. But she now has, I think she's got 15,000 in her Facebook group now. But she did that when she only had about 6,000 in it. So what I'm saying to you is if you go and get 20,000 people in your Facebook group by Christmas, you will put yourself in a position where it's almost impossible to fail. And that's available to you today. There's the 10 wide. There, Gilroy Heartline went to £869, very part-time. Last month it was 1,155, and then the following month 1,567. That's a bronze exec check. Do you know how much they retailed? We always used to say this is a retail-driven network. No, it's not anymore. I'm really pleased about that. It's now a people-driven network, which is much better. They only retailed 400 quid. But they still got a check. Their backs payment was 1,467, and she only joined to make a little pocket money to tide her over because she was finishing maternity leave. But she got a backs payment of 1,467 quid without doing big retail. But why? Because she went bronze exec in the business and narrowly missed silver, but we think she'll be silver this month. That's from the end of March to the end of the year to silver exec. Part-time, really part-time. So when I said it's better, bigger than ever it would be before, and it would duplicate quickly and easily, there, ladies and gentlemen, there's your evidence. I recommend that you edit the check, because, am I okay for time?
Yeah.
Okay. Please do yourselves a big, big favour, and stop talking in terms of Clean Easy. When people respond to adverts, they're not looking to join Clean Easy. Even if you think Clean Easy is the best thing since sliced bread, and I think it's the best thing since sliced bread, but I don't go around telling people, come and join my Clean Easy business. You know why I don't do that? Because it's not effective. It's not effective marketing to do that. What people usually want is to be able to work from home with flexibility around their children, and they usually want more money than their job will pay them, or they hate their boss, or they can't fit everything in, or they're stressed out because they've compromised their values by doing a job they don't really like. They're just doing it to pay the bills until they're ill. So I recommend that you edit the check. Why do you edit the check? So that they don't know what it is. Until we're ready to tell them on our terms, when they've understood what's available. So when they've watched the first video, watched the product range, then they've seen the support system, then we can tell them it's Clean Easy. Except we don't do that. We say it's K-Life Online, which is owned by a company called CBSL, who also own Clean Easy. It's a separate brand, but the income, we still show the income. So we edit the check, but you'll see that we've taken off here the bit which says Clean Easy and the address. Because it's just an advert, it's a teaser advert. And you put that in your Facebook group. That's Ruth Pearson, who also is part-time. She just retired from her job, and she's got a check for 1,700 quid. And they were only at like 10%, 13% a few months ago in the business. So, if you properly structure this opportunity, like Craig Skellen, I should have put his check in here. Craig Skellen's check last month was 3 grand because he was 10 wide. He was actually only 9 wide this previous month. In the period 12, period 11 he was 10 wide. He was only 9 wide, but he has 2 other people. Stacey Thomas and Lee Maddox are 10 wide, and in his other leg she wasn't quite 10, but she was about 8. So it wasn't like perfect, but it was as close to that as you could hope to get. And his check was just under 3 grand. He's part-time in the business. It's all online. It's nearly all online. Some of the people that join to do online will later fill out catalogues. That's absolutely fine. We haven't got a problem with that because we know that still works. But most of his growth, he's a terrier group distributor here, you probably saw, but he's now got a £3 a month check and it's a residual income. He only does about £1 retail, if that. So that's the nature of the opportunity. So we don't talk in terms of getting to gold, we talk in terms of getting to bronze, because it's a much better place to be. So I believe anybody in this room, if you do really good retail period 13, build your Facebook group of 20,000 people, I believe anybody here can get to gold distributor by period 2, or if you really want to go slowly, we'll give you to period 3. If you really, really want to go slow, we'll give you to period 3. But I believe once you've done that, if you've got 20,000 people in your group and you get busy and you sponsor, like Laura Harrison sponsored 16 people in 7 or 8 weeks, if you go and get 15 to 20 people from your Facebook group, which is easy to do, I promise you it's easy to do, anybody could then identify 2 other people and teach them to do the same thing and be bronze exec. I believe anybody in this room can be bronze exec by period 4 of next year. And I believe anybody in this room can be SED by the end of next year. Even if you just joined today, they'll pay you 50 grand a year in a residual income. Now, I wouldn't have said that. I've never come here, I've never said that in any opportunity meeting in the last 16 years. I never would have said it because I would have been accused of hyping it out of all, reasonable expectation. But that is what I believe the opportunity provides today. If you put a few simple things in place, you will see staggering amounts of money. There's a girl in Ireland called Jennifer Sinnott, who's in Eamon Lynch's team, who's part-time. She comes to our meetings and attends steps, and she only joined in about March. She's just done about 70 grand turnover since March, and all of that's online. So she's gone bronze exec, and she's got a bronze exec in her business, and that's happened in literally about 6 months. So it's not just in my team, but there are other teams doing this as well. Here's another thing that we should kind of. Is a myth that we should dispel. You don't have to work locally either. That's another myth. Deanne Gilroy lives up here in Scotland, and she does have one leg in Scotland, in Edinburgh, but her other leg is down here in London. So she's just gone bronze exec. She sponsored a guy called Luke Hailstone into the business on a Thursday, and he was in the London meeting on the Saturday. Why? Because that's what we teach. We teach people to promote events before people pay their money. But Stacey Thomas and Lee Maddox are here in Northern Ireland, but they also have a leg at 21% in London. So they're in Ireland, but their second leg coming through is in London. So we put these are where our meetings are, except for that one. Oh, there we go. Is that working? Is this point?
Yeah, press the middle button.
Middle button?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. This one here, this one here is Cambridge, which we're going to announce, I'll say we'll announce tomorrow. I haven't told Karen yet, but I'll say it anyway. She's going to have to sort it out. So there'll be a meeting, we'll open another meeting in Cambridge. So we've got London, Bristol, Birmingham, Cambridge, Yorkshire, Bolton, Dundalk, and Scotland. What that means is we've pretty much got the whole country covered. So wherever we recruit people online, if we're in a Facebook group in London, they go to London, etc., etc. So what that means is we have systems in place where people can join, go to a workshop, learn a system, come on webinars, and we can basically plug people into a system anywhere in this country. And it will duplicate. We know it duplicates because we've got people in Scotland breaking gold distributors in London, we've got people in Ireland breaking gold distributors in the UK. So we know it will work. Now the most exciting thing about that is I could put another one. Oh, I've got another one there. I've got one.
Newcastle.
Newcastle, it's not there, is it, Newcastle?
No.
Oh, well, and we've opened that one, I forgot to put a slide face on there. But we've got another one about there, is that right? Is that where Newcastle is?
No.
Oh, good.
Right.
30 minutes.
So we've got another one there. So I forgot about that one, yeah. So we've got more than I thought. So we know that we've got gold distributors at all those meetings, we've got bronze execs running all those meetings, but we also know that even if you say we've got one there, you could say, well, we could put one right up there, I suppose, and we could put maybe two over here. But the reality is, we will put meetings wherever we need them. And when we finish with this, we'll go to Europe and we'll put one in Barcelona, and then we'll put one in Madrid, and then we'll put one in Germany, and then we'll put one in Holland. Wherever we need to, wherever we want to. It doesn't matter, because the system will duplicate, not just in the UK, because it's not catalogue based. We can do this anywhere. So when I said it would duplicate quicker, faster, bigger, better than ever before, that's why. Because we know we have a model that we can export overseas. Fact. And Facebook is integral in all of that. And we've never had, Facebook is like a weapon. It's unbelievable. I could talk, we could be here all night, so I'll move on. But we know that this is only the beginning. This is like a grain of sand in the desert, depending on what we will do. We will take this anywhere we want to take it, I promise you. If you have a group of 20,000 people on Facebook, let's say, for example, in your 20,000 strong group, do you think some of the people in that group might know some people in Poland? What do you think?
Yeah.
I think there's a pretty good chance that they will know people in the UK who are Polish who know people in Poland. And that's how it works. And it's also very likely that of those 20,000 people in your Facebook group, some of those people will know people who have property in Spain. And they will know Spanish people. So if we want to launch into Spain, that's how it will be launched into Spain. So it doesn't matter where, we can take this anywhere. Not just, so we need to stop thinking about Preston or Bolton and start thinking about Europe and the world. So I believe this opportunity it's infinitely better. It's at least 100 times better than the opportunity I joined. At least 100 times better. That's why I get up every day and I want to sponsor people into my business every single day. Because I believe I know I can change people's lives by offering this opportunity. And I want to do it every day. I want to reach as many people as I possibly can. And I also know that it's never been as good as it is now. Sorry? Did it? How did that happen?
Positive thinking.
I did that by magic. Okay. So, this is a key thing though. Having said that, there are a couple of things we need to change. Number of leads generated, number of people joining needs to change. But sometimes our mentality needs to change. And one of the things that I've discussed with people like Lisa Burke and other people in the network is that historically I think people used to recruit people and then start people retailing. And then we kind of all cross our fingers and hope they got a good result. And then maybe at some point later we would then tell them about events. Well, we don't do it that way. And if we'd done it that way, the probability is we wouldn't have had the growth that we've got now, because we teach people to promote events. And we do that. They're supposed to say involve, expose, upgrade. So we get people involved in the business, but we tell them before they pay their money about online trainings twice a week and about workshops once a month. And we tell them about that before they join. And if they're not willing to do that, then I tell them not to join, because I haven't got time to mess about. But I recommend that you do the same thing, because in the end, although the internet is fantastic, Facebook is fantastic, in the end, it's still about people. So you have to build relationships with the people that join your business. And the only way you can effectively do that nationally is by having a national network of meetings and then plug those people into those meetings so they meet other people who are successful, so that they get exposed to the business properly, so they see other people that are successful, and then you get to meet them at some point. But the good news is we live in a really small country, so it won't take you long. So now really is the time to take action. The reason why I said earlier, it works all year round. It will work every single month of the year, but at this particular time of year, it works better than ever before. So my advice to you would be to act now by doing some really good retail, period 13, get yourself a really good check, build your Facebook group to 20, and then in period 1 and 2, So sponsor 15 to 20 people quickly. That's what Dwight Harrison did. That's what Alan Tom's doing. There's loads of our people doing this. If you look at Gavin Scott's top list of sponsors, you'll see loads of our team at the top of that list. And then all you've got to do is find 2 people that are growing their Facebook groups, coming on webinars, and coming to workshops or meetings. And then you teach them to do what you've done, and you'll be bronze exec. And I believe you can be bronze exec by period 1, period 2. But to do that, you have to do it now. You have to take action tonight. You're not allowed to go to bed tonight until you start running competitions in your Facebook groups. You've got 23 days, is that right? There we go, 23 days left to get the best checks to promote the business. So from the 18th of December, the really good news is that the period finishes 18th of December, still a week before Christmas. So this period, period 13, is quite unique because it's 4 weeks of a period when people go into a spending frenzy. Don't they? I don't think we just spend money like without even thinking about it, just because it's like what everybody does, you know. So I believe anybody can be gold. Absolutely anybody in the world can be gold by period 2. And if you get 15 to 20 people, all you've got to do is find 2 people that will copy what you've done. But I promise you this, if they're joining from a Facebook group, if they're already in the Facebook group, already buying the products, already seeing other people buy the products, the duplication that you get will be infinitely bigger and better and faster than anything you've ever experienced before. Do you understand this?
Yeah.
We're not then putting a proposition to someone saying, come and join my clean easy business. We put 200 catalogues out for 6 months. It's 193 quid to get started. They're already in the group. They already see the products. They've already seen your check. And you can get them up and running in an hour. And people are joining and getting into like the 30-day challenge and 10% in the first couple of days. Some of the people in that group, of your 20,000 people, some of those people will love Facebook, and some of them will have 1,200 friends on Facebook the day they join. So think about that. So even if you're not into Facebook, even if you think this Facebook thing's a load of tosh, and you're not really into Facebook, and you never go on Facebook, don't worry about that. You need to start going on it. But what you need to do is stop worrying about whether you can do it, and concentrate on finding some other people who would love to do it. Because I promise you, there's millions of them. There's bloody millions of them. There we go, that's it.